game time, get in line for the post report. They provide everything that's live when it comes to sports. I listen to them when I ride or when on my porch. Feeling like I'm looking from inside, chilling on the court. Marco got the stats, the jokers speak the facts. They always speak the truth and bring the proof to be exact. They don't meet up just to chat, when they meet up it's a rap. Man, they speak on every piece and every week they bring it back. Any team or any topic, best believe them people got it. They just like a referee. If they see it, they gon' call it. So when others do the most, I listen to the Pulse. The only place for sure I really know to get results is the Pulse Report.
Welcome to the Pulse Report, y'all. Episode 13. First and foremost, man, we want to thank everybody that's been supporting the podcast thus far. Shout out to my man Johnny Hatcher, aka Big Sugar, last week for episode 12, our special guest. We had a special interview with him. I hope you guys enjoyed that. But we here now in this episode 13, man, and we got some great things to talk about. I'm pretty sure all of you have been paying attention to the world of sports. It's been a frenzy, so let's get into it, man. I'm your host, Marco.
And I'm your co-host, the Joker One.
And we about to get right to it, man. TPR, let's get it.
Let's do it.
All right, man. So the NBA has just sent everybody into a frenzy this summer. I don't know what is going on, but for whatever reason, man, the NBA has managed to remain relevant since the finals ended on June 12th. Mind you, it's September, and we still talking about the NBA, and we have been almost each and every week because of the craziness that's going on. And the latest of the craziness in the NBA, Carmelo Anthony has now joined the Oklahoma City Thunder along with the reigning MVP Russell Westbrook, and they're also another addition in Paul George. What is going on? What do you think about that move, man?
Man, people are scattering around trying to form these super teams. You got to put something together to try to beat Golden State. That's all that I'm saying. Plus, these players been trying to get out of their prior situations. From I listened to Paul George interview when he was talking about the Thunder. Seemed like he was throwing a couple jabs at Indiana, talking about the Thunder showing that they can put together a team and they'll do whatever it takes and all this and that. And I'm like, is he trying to talk about Indiana? But, the situation with Carmelo, too, he always wanted to get out. Well, he's been wanting to get out of New York for the past year or two because of what transpired with Phil Jackson. But I'm loving what OKC doing right now. It looks like they putting everything in a pot. Russell ain't signed that extension, so we got to do something to make them happy. And they doing good right now. And I saw that Dwayne Wade is a possibility to land there, too. It's one of his 4 options, man. It's getting crazy, bro. What you think?
Man, listen. I don't know what's going on with the NBA, and especially the Western Conference. Oh, my goodness. I just want to say I heard something with Paul George, too, and he was mentioning how Indiana kind of tried to play him on the schedule where they were promoting the game versus the OKC Thunder, that they said that it was the game in which Victor Oladipo and Sabonis was playing against their former team, opposed to, the game where Paul George returns back, to play the Indiana Pacers. So they basically was favoring the idea of making it more about Victor Oladipo than Paul George. So I know he really wasn't feeling that. But we're going to see how that turned out, man. I'm pretty sure that game might be a blowout in favor of OKC. But I'm very much interested to see how those 3 are going to play basketball together. I mean, they're 3 phenomenal basketball players individually, but we've all noted that they're very ball dominant, and unlike a team that was formed with Golden State, we don't see that much passing going on at OKC. Although Russell Westbrook did average a triple-double, which also included double-digit assists a game, is this the opportunity for them to show that they can play together? Or is this going to be a chance for us to see that 3 superstars might not actually work on one team? Like, if it was up to you, where do you have them finishing in the West? Like, when it's all said and done, playoffs about to start, what seed are they?
Ooh, I don't know, Marco. That's tough right now. Like you said, those are 3 ball-dominant players. Carmelo Anthony, he might be the worst of them all, so I don't know. We got to see how it all meshes together, how it's all going to fit in, because Carmelo's not a big defensive player either. And they're, like you said, they're in the West where it's a loaded conference where every game is going to count this year. So if I just had to make my projections, I'm looking at the Western Conference. There'll be anywhere between, I'd say, 5 and 3. 5 being the lowest, 3 being the highest. I still
Okay.
believe San Antonio will continue their dominance of winning 50 plus, possibly 60 games. And of course, Golden State will be at the top of the list around 65 plus. That's what I'm thinking, envisioning. That's my guess. What you think?
I got him as a 4 seed, possibly a 3. Of course, I mean, it's a foregone conclusion who we feel is going to be number 1 in the conference in Golden State. I do have San Antonio being just as good. Although their personnel doesn't reflect that they're going to have an awesome season, all you need is Greg Popovich and a star, and that star is Kawhi Leonard. And to me, sounds like 50 wins, like you said. But I also want to put Houston in the mix. Although I'm not a big fan of Houston, but I do respect that they had a great record. They had the 3rd best record in the league last year, not just in the Western Conference, but in the league. They had the 3rd best record. And I don't feel like adding Chris Paul is going to put you in a downward spiral from that. Sure, they might not be. There's some, confusion going on as to, how is it going to work, because Chris Paul is very ball dominant as well, as he's always been the anchor of the offense. But we also saw James Harden just go out there and lead the league in assists. So we'll see how it goes, man. But I think right now I have to give Houston the nod on being at least the number 3 team. If not, that 3 and 4 seed is interchangeable to me between Houston and OKC. But we'll see how it goes, man. Like you said, Melo isn't the best defender, but we'll see, man. I think it hurts his game more than anything.
You think that Rockets team could beat the OKC team constructed as is?
I do.
Because,
one thing.
I don't think James and Chris Paul going to be as strong as Russ, Paul George, and Carmelo.
I feel you. And, on paper, that might not sound great for Houston, but Houston also was one of the best and probably shot the most threes last year. I think they did shoot the most threes, and they shot the 3 ball very well. Chris Paul, we're talking about Chris Paul basically replacing Patrick Beverly at the point guard position. So I think that's an upgrade.
James ran the one last year.
But I'm just saying, as far as 3-point shooting goes, like personnel on the floor. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
So Roberson is still playing in OKC. Again, we got to see how the ball moves in order for them to get good 3-point shots. So right now, I will have to see, man. Check back in with me in December. But right now, I got Houston being over top of them. But we're not going to spend too much time on that. I want to talk about Dwayne Wade a little bit because, of course, we heard about the buyout with him from Chicago. But where do you think Dwayne Wade ends up?
I mean, it's clearly evident. It's hard to say that he won't join LeBron James and, them possibly meet back up and try to, win more championships together. I don't know if that's the best opportunity. I believe he said his options was the Spurs, the Heat, the Cavs, and OKC. I believe if D Wade at this stage in his career wants to come off the bench, that will be in his best interest. But I still believe he can be a good starter if the team is suitable for his game style. So I don't know which team per se. I would probably say the Spurs, because the Spurs is probably the quickest team where he can get in, figure it out, work with a good coach, work with good players, and be in a winning situation and winning environment. So that's what I will probably lean more towards. But I think he probably would team up with LeBron more than likely. What you think?
I think he should play for the 401k Monstars. I'm sorry, man.
Wow.
I just
this
think,
guy's
man,
disrespectful.
Listen, I love Dwayne Wade. I've always felt like he's one
Hall
of the
of
top
Famer.
5 best shooting guards, I think, in NBA history. And some people will probably even rank him higher than that, maybe top 3. I'm not, here to do that, but I respect Dwayne Wade, and I think he's a phenomenal basketball player. But right now, with the youth that are on a lot of these rosters, man, I just don't see Dwayne Wade really, helping a team be a better contender. Because he's not really a knockdown shooter. He never has been, never really, really had a consistent jump shot. He's a very smart basketball player, but right now the 3 ball is running the league. It's a run and gun league, and those things kind of don't play in his favor at this point in his career. I also would if he was to go to a team, I would like to see him with a team like the Spurs. I think Greg Popovich has a knack for bringing out the best in veterans and putting them in great situations. And like you said, that's a winning environment. So if Dwayne Wade is going to do anything, hey, Go try to win a championship somewhere. If he wants to go team up with LeBron, I'm fine with that as well. I just don't. Personally, I don't feel like there's enough minutes out there with the wing players they have, especially, again, with the tray ball being such a factor. I wouldn't want to take minutes from people like J.R. Smith or Jay Crowder just to have a person like Dwayne Wade, who's probably more dependable than those other two. But again, when you have LeBron James, man, you need floor spacers, and that's not necessarily Dwayne Wade's game. But, I mean, I guess we'll see how it turns out. I wish him nothing but the best, man, but we're going to keep our eye out on that as well. So best of luck to Dwayne Wade, man, and the NBA will be back, man, probably by the next episode. So we'll be talking about something about the NBA. We'll look out for the preseason start. Man. But of course, there were many opinions flooded out via Twitter and social media this week. The 45th president of the United States decided that he wanted to make it known that a player by the name of Steph Curry wasn't invited to the White House, because Steph Curry made it, pretty evident that he was opposed to going to the White House. As a teenage girl probably would do, the 45th president got on Twitter, decided to, go back and forth, like, you're not invited anyway. So, he started talking about, the protests that were going on in the NFL, and he called, he specifically said that, they're all SOBs and they deserve to be fired if they don't want to stand for the flag and this and the fourth. And of course, we all know that that's not what the kneel is for. It's to bring awareness to, how unjust people of color have been treated by police enforcement. But we won't dive too much into that. But that caused an uproar in unity and solidarity throughout the NFL. And this past week, at an all-time high, we saw people showing symbols of that, whether it have been taking a kneel, whether it have been locking arms, or not coming out for the national anthem at all. So, what do you think about, what's transpiring right now? Like, are the NFL players really making a statement? I don't even want to ask you much about what you think about the tweet and the words used by the 45th president, because we don't really care about what he says out of his mouth over here. Right, because
I was about to lead in. Just flatline him now. Just give him the longest flatline we got.
Matter of fact, we gonna let it last for a while. Hey, number 45, this one's for you, man.
Get him.
You big cold-blooded dummy.
You suck.
You're so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Yeah, we wanted to make that one laugh. He earned that one, and that's an understatement.
That was crazy.
But yeah. So, what do you think about the players, man? Like, like I said, taking a kneel and locking arms, and some not even coming out.
I mean, I guess it was a good justice. Everybody starting to partake and, become one. It's not just becoming this guy's doing it, this guy's doing it. Like, everybody's starting to take notice on what Colin Kaepernick was trying to bring attention to. Now, people are not still talking about the issue at hand, but we're seeing that steps are being taken and people are at least recognizing what's going on, and that's all I could ever ask for, is that you guys act like you know what's going on. I'm tired of them using the flag. I'm tired of them using the Marines and the veterans and everything like that. That's not the case, and y'all know that, and I'm tired of them keep trying to use that as a deflecting shield for the issue at hand, which Kaepernick wanted to address, which was the police brutality and the inequality that still goes on in America. So, like I said, I honestly like what the Steelers did, because I understand that with a team of, I think it's a 53-man roster, you're going to have some people that want to partake in it, and they actually did have one guy. Did you see him? Last name Villanova. I didn't get his first name.
He served. Yeah, he served.
Yeah, they say he served 3 terms in Iraq. Not 1, not 2, but 3, my guy. A 3-peat. Yeah. So I understand where he wants to come out and show and put his hand across his chest and show that he respect what's going on. And like you said, it's freedom of speech. We can do whatever we want. But I like the way that they handled it and put everyone inside the tunnel where no one could be seen. Some people probably were kneeling in the tunnel. Some people probably were standing. But at the end of the day, you could not see anything. And that message was still pretty much heard through everybody in that stadium. And I like Mike Tomlin for taking that address. How about you, man? What you think?
Man, I think, I definitely appreciate, the NFL players for responding in the way that they did. Of course, for me, it's a bittersweet moment because I don't understand why it took, comments coming from the commander-in-chief for some of these people to kind of react towards it. But I appreciate it nonetheless. Kaepernick has been doing it. I think I heard him say something like the first time he did it was 14 months ago. So here we are a year in. A year plus in, and, now people are really starting to understand, the importance of it and, showing that unity and solidarity across the board, because a lot of these owners that partook in the, the silent protests are also people who contributed to the 45's campaign, gave millions of dollars to. So, I just think that, in a way I can appreciate it, but in a way I'm like, what took you so long to even, get on this train when nothing has changed? And that's not a good thing that nothing has changed. But, we won't harvest on that too much, man. Shout out to the players in the league. Let's get to the games, because this week was probably the most exciting week in football that I could ever remember, to be honest with you.
For man. You, I was pissed at the end of this week, man. I don't know about you, but it was a good week in football.
Shout out to the Raiders. Hey, shout out to the Raiders, man.
Don't shout out the Raiders. They don't need no shout out today.
Everybody know the Joker. Everybody know the Joker one is a Raiders fan, man, and they got popped by the Redskins. But listen, man, I'm not gonna be that biased. Listen, I ain't gonna talk all that trash because my team lost to a backup quarterback in Case Keenum and the Vikings. So we both took an L this week, big dog. We both took an L this week. But as fans of the game, we got a W. As a fans of the game, we got a W. It was a record-breaking weekend. I seen an article that said something about over 7 games or something were decided in the last 23 minutes collectively throughout all of the 1 o'clock games. So that was crazy right there. I mean, we had some games where it looked like one team was getting away and was for sure going to win. And if you changed the channel, you missed it because they scored and won the game or sent it into overtime or something like that. Just to highlight some of the great games, man. We saw the GOAT, a.k.a. Tom Brady, make a vicious comeback against the Texans, in which they were down, and they had to go down the field in 2 minutes. And we all know 2 minutes on the clock is an eternity for number 12. That was an exciting game. You guys might want to go check that out, man. Tom Brady with the game-winning touchdown to Brandon Cooks. We also had the Giants and Philadelphia, man, gave us a thriller. A NFC East matchup. We know that conference, when those teams get together, man, it's going to be some fireworks. Odell Beckham made an awesome return to his level of competition that he's used to, pulling in 2 touchdowns and, of course, causing some controversy, as he always does. But it was all to no avail because Philly was able to get a 61-yard field goal by a rookie kicker to win the game. 61, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that was the 5th or 4th longest field goal in NFL history. And
that's ridiculous.
Again, man, it was just an awesome game. Aaron Rodgers did what Aaron Rodgers does. It looked like Cincinnati was about to get the first win of the season. And what happened, Josh?
Aaron Rodgers. Don't let him have the ball last, bro, because he going to score. Especially if he playing Cincinnati. He know he can't take no L to Cincinnati. I got to get this win. And he does what he does. Got his team in field goal position. Crosby came in, sealed the deal. Another win for the Packers. Go Cheeseheads.
Let's talk about some of the surprise games real quick before I get into the game that probably was the most controversial. But first, again, let's talk about some of the games that was just surprising. Jacksonville went out to London.
Thursday? I was about to say, did you check out that Thursday game, the Rams versus 49ers?
I was going to get to that. Because I was upset that was on TV for the Thursday night game. I don't think anybody except 49ers and Rams fans wanted to see that game. But it turned out to be a great game, especially down the stretch, man. They made that one for the ages, man. Shout out to both teams. Of course, the Rams prevailed. Sean McVay has that offense looking like something, man. They've scored over 40 points twice this year. You might want to be on the lookout for that
look
team.
Okay. I thought he was sorry.
He definitely do. But, so it was a game in London, man, that included the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Baltimore Ravens, in which we know, I'm pretty sure Baltimore was the favorite in that game. And, man, oh, man, did they go out there and embarrass everyone who thought that. Jacksonville managed to win 44-7 in London with Blake Bortles, who's been on the hot seat for the last who knows how many seasons, went out there and threw 4 touchdowns as well. I'm not sure what's going on, but let's throw both of those teams in the trash. We had Denver and Buffalo in a surpriser, man. The no-fly zone versus Tyrod Taylor and Shady McCoy. And surprisingly, Tyrod Taylor and Shady McCoy pulled out the victory against Denver, man. I think that was one of the biggest upsets of the day as well.
Definitely.
Because Denver's been playing some great football lately, man. Great.
We needed that. Yes,
we also had another upset. Or for some people, I guess it wasn't an upset. Chicago ended up beating Pittsburgh after having one of the most bonehead plays happen for the week, in which a field goal was blocked. The guy decided to return it for a touchdown and got the ball stripped out of his hand before he crossed over the goal line, which was a big deal, really, because Chicago ended up having to kick a field goal to go into halftime, and that game went into overtime. Luckily, they were able to score, but man, was that a back and forth game that left some uncertainty for a lot of fans for both teams. But I do want you to I want you to touch on this one, man. Atlanta versus Detroit. We had a situation where it was a shootout, of course. We had Matthew Stafford and
Matty Ice.
Matt Ryan. Matty Ice was out there, man, competing in a good game. And it came down to the wire, in which Detroit looked like they seemed to have won the game with a game-winning touchdown. What happened, bro? Tell me what happened, bro.
Last play of the drive, Matthew Stafford hits Golden Tate. As Golden Tate is stretching to score the touchdown, his knee looks like when his knee hits the ground, simultaneously, I believe the football crosses the goal line and he scored a touchdown. Under review, they called the play a non-touchdown call. Now, when that happened, it was only 7 seconds remaining on the clock. And because they had to review, it's an automatic 10-second runoff on the clock, causing the Detroit Lions not even to get the opportunity to come to the line and possibly run another play, which ultimately caused them to lose. Now, from the replay that I saw, I'm not hating on the Falcons at all. Like I said, I don't like either one of these teams. I just liked it a good game. I thought Golden Tate crossed the plane. I thought that was a touchdown. I didn't think it was enough evidence to overturn it if you think he did not score. And that's what I didn't agree with, because the call on the field was that it was a touchdown. And they went back and reviewed it and called it a non-touchdown, which led to the 10-second runoff, which led to the ultimately losing. And that was a crazy finish, man. They might have stole one from the Detroit, literally. The Falcons looking good, but they stole one. Did you see it?
I saw it, man. And honestly, I disagree with the call as well, but I also disagree with the rule. Like, I understand the rule, but in that situation, I think it shouldn't apply. Like, that rule should apply exclusively to certain situations, in which I don't think that should be one of them. At that time, Detroit had no timeouts, and it wasn't a turnover on down situation, but because they reviewed it, like you said, led to the 10-second runoff with only 7 seconds on the clock, which means Detroit was not even given the opportunity to run their last play if they were, of course, going to be able to get to the line of scrimmage and get something going on. So I felt like they was robbed of an opportunity to win the game. I don't want to take anything away from the Falcons, man. Great game, Falcons, defending NFC champs, still undefeated. I take nothing away from you, but I feel like, man, in some situations we got to review these rules and make some exceptions, because, again, I don't think that was one that played in the favor of anyone, honestly, because, it's just not something that I see really being a staple in the game. So I'm sorry I feel bad for the Lions, man. They played a great game. Matthew Stafford.
They did, man.
He was robbed of an opportunity there, man. But both of our teams lost, as we mentioned earlier. Both of our teams lost, ladies and gentlemen. Your Pulse Report podcast hosts are fans of Oakland Raiders, the Joker Ones team.
Oakland Raiders.
And Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which is my team. Both of our teams lost in pretty embarrassing fashion. So, with that being said, we're not even going to talk about those teams. We're not going to talk about those games.
At all.
We're upset. If you can see the look on the Joker's face, if you can see the look on my face right now, if you can see the way we're looking at each other, you'll understand. This is not something we feel like talking about at the moment.
At all. At all.
So we gonna look right past it, man. But I do want to ask you this, man. Like I said, the Atlanta Falcons are undefeated At this point, there are only 2 undefeated teams, one in the NFC, one in the AFC. The one in the AFC is the Kansas City Chiefs. And I don't think it's a surprise that they're undefeated because they have played very good football. But I am surprised at the play of their offense. We already knew they had a really good defense, a really great defense. But Alex Smith has basically shut up all of the naysayers. And now, I mean, he's out there looking like more than just a game manager. Kareem Hunt gets an opportunity, makes the most of it. Now he leads the league in rushing. Like, what is going on, man? Like, is Kansas City the real deal, or are we just prisoners of the moment?
The Chiefs always been a real deal. Like you said, they was just waiting for Alex Smith to take the next step. They always had a good defense, good special teams. Andy Reid is a good coach. They was just waiting for Alex Smith to be able to stretch the field. And I think them drafting that quarterback lit a fire under Alex Smith. Because at this point, either you going to be what we want you to be or you out the door. Because this young guy can come in and be a game manager with the weapons that we got. So, like you said, I think that the Chiefs is definitely a great team. I didn't think they would start off undefeated. I needed the Patriots to beat them because, like I said, they in our division. I need every loss Kansas City can get. But they came out and surprised us, man, with that hellacious defense versus the Patriots. They got a good win week 2, and they wrapped up another win this week. They 3-0. I think they the real deal. Like you said, they got good offense, they got a good defense, and they got good special teams. They're a good all-around team with a good coach. So they can go far. I think the only thing that was holding them back was, can Alex Smith really stretch the field? Can he really go out and make a defense scared? At the end of the day, does he frighten me? Is he only going to throw these little 10-yard routes, or can he throw a 30-yard pass downfield, or maybe 50? And now he's showing that this year, which is making the Chiefs look amazing, like the best team in the NFL right now. So, I mean, I'm not going to take nothing away from the Falcons. I give the Chiefs the edge because their defense is a lot better. But other than that, they looking good right now. Can't lie.
Hey, coming into the week, man, they were ranked the number 1 team in the power rankings, and it looks like going into week 4, they will keep that spot. You mentioned Alex Smith, and I also said that he's looking like more and more of more than a game manager. We spoke about a guy who was more than a game manager, and Cam Newton. We spoke about him before, and although they're 2-1, they don't look like a good team. And I know that this was a team that you expected to be a little bit better this year. And 2-1 isn't bad, but that 2-1 has been an ugly 2-1. And going in versus the Saints, a division rival, they got blown out, man. Is this the end of the Cam Newton, Carolina Panthers era, or will they get it turned around?
They'll get it turned around. I think Cam Newton isn't 100%. He's in there just being a leader, fighting with his team, just being out there. If you're going to be out there, I only can judge you as Cam Newton. I can't say, oh, Cam Newton hurt, giving you excuses, giving you that. His last game was horrendous. 3 interceptions, no touchdowns, under 200 yards. Like, just pathetic. But
he hasn't went for over 230 all season, by the way.
Yeah. And like I said, I think a large part of that is because he's hurt. Like, he's not even running, which is a large part to what Cam Newton does, because he's not a great passer, and he probably never will. That never was a thing. He can throw good enough to get the job done, but what makes him a threat is that he's a dual threat at the end of the day. He's 6'5", he's 250. He can move, he can get out the pocket, and he can sometimes make that throw when you need it. So I don't think this is the end of it. I think as time goes on, I don't know how he'll get healthier playing. I think he should take a game or two off if he's not 100%. Take the Andrew Luck role and get yourself 100%, because if you're going to be out there, we only can judge you off what you do. And you ain't helping me out right now when I'm arguing with Marco, because you, like I said, you threw 3 interceptions with no touchdowns. Brother, help
None.
me out.
0.
Come on now.
Nada.
But what I'm saying, what shocks me is at least when he normally has games like that, he at least gave me 9 rushes for 67 yards and a touchdown on the ground to make up for his mishaps throwing the ball. Because like I said, he's not a great passer and he's not highly accurate, but he can make throws when needed.
Hey, man. according to the Joker, hey Cam, this one's straight for me, man. Get well soon, Cam. We miss you, Cam. We hope you get better, Cam. We're sending you flowers and balloons, Cam. Please,
here
Cam.
you go.
I'm tired of it, man. But I ain't gonna listen. They still got a winning record, so I can't say too much. You know, my team, we at 500. We couldn't play week 1, so we 1-1. But hey, Cam, it's all good, man. Hopefully you keep losing, you know, for the sake of my team being in your division. So I don't mind. Go out there. Go for under 230 again, man. Throw 3 interceptions, all you want. I'm all for it. I'm off that. I'm off the NFL, man. We off the NFL. I just want to take this time to give out some shout outs real quick before we wrap it up. We're about to wrap it up, y'all. But we want to give out some shout outs real quick, man. Anybody you want to shout out?
As usual, my little cousin, Lil Sean at VTech, they got another dub moving on up. Next week, they got Clemson, which will be a big test, the number 2 team in the nation. So that's always difficult. I want to shout out to a flag football team, Petty, man. They got a lot of my former high school friends on there, and I want to just show them some support, man. I want to show them some support and love,
I'll
man.
shout out Team Petty too because I'm a member of the team.
Oh yeah, I forgot you just got on Team Petty. I think I'm gonna join the squad too, man. I need to get back out there and start running. I ain't ran in about 3 years, but I know I can still get y'all the business. That ain't.
Hey, last shout out. I know you want to probably shout this person out too, so we can share this. Shout out to Andre Ward, man, to a great, phenomenal, illustrious, prestigious career, man. He called it quits, y'all. He's officially retired, but he retired on top. He retired a champion, undefeated, one of the best to ever do it, man. We've had nothing but great things to say about Andre Ward, man. A marvelous fighter, an even greater man. Shout out to you, Andre Ward, man. From
Shout
TPR
out to Andre, man.
to you, man. You much appreciated, man. We appreciate your career and sharing those moments with us, man. You've done nothing but been an anchor and an idol in the sport, man. So definitely shout out to you, bro.
Facts, man. Andre Ward was definitely a hell of a fighter, man. It was definitely a surprise for me for him retiring, but you know, he said his body has been through a lot, and I can't blame the man. He probably done made his money. He's undefeated. He's a great fighter, and like you say, from what we see, he's a good man off the outside of the boxing ring. So I wish the best for Andre Ward in his next phase in life, man.
That's how we gonna wrap it up, man. We wrapped it up on a good note, man. Hey, again, man, spread positivity, unity, solidarity, and love throughout the world, man. Not only throughout the country, but throughout the world. And that all starts from within ourselves, man. We gotta learn to love the next person to us. I don't care your color, your race, your religion, your creed, background, your upbringing, whatever. Show love, man. That's the only way to fix the world. But we ain't gonna hold y'all, man. We appreciate y'all tuning in to episode 13. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm your host, Marco.
And I'm your co-host, the Joker One.
And TPR, we out.
We out of here.
So when others do the most, I listen to the pulse. The only place for sure I really know to get results is the Pulse Report.